but I wasn't put in contact with anything outside of the hospital.
And your son being born and passing away, that's about 6 years ago now. Can you tell us a little bit about, his life and, his birth and what it was like to spend the time you had with him?
Yeah. I'll always remember I was sitting in the room ready to go down to have him, and I remember Vicky was actually on a radio show doing an interview, and I remember her wishing me luck, and I remember that kind of got me, I don't know how to explain it. I was so scared. I was so frightened.
Can you tell us about Every Life Counts and the work that you do?
Every Life Counts is a wonderful organisation. It supports parents when they receive a poor diagnosis with baby while they're still pregnant. It's run by all parents that have gone through this before. So we provide peer-to-peer support. Parents contact us. We have a 24-hour helpline number, and parents can contact us that way or via email, or sometimes the hospital will recommend us. And we just offer a kind of a wraparound support, whatever that may look like. And normally in each and every circumstance, it is different. We provide care packages with tiny baby clothes if that's what they need. We do find, though, parents mostly just need somebody to say that they get it and they know what they're going through. We can also offer them support around information around the diagnosis. We have wonderful leaflets. Again, we can connect them with other parents that have had the same diagnosis. So it does lots of things. Every Life Counts does lots of things, and whatever we need to do to support that family.
And can you talk a little bit about the genesis of it and your own story and how you ended up here?
So Every Life Counts was established before I came on board, and they reached out to me to ask if I wanted to share Liadhan's story, because I'd done a fundraiser for a bereavement photography charity. They were very good to us and took wonderful pictures the time my daughter was born. And I shared her story, and then I just got connected with all the other families in Every Life Counts. And I just thought, what a beautiful thing this is. How amazing is this that, all these parents are together and they're just honouring their child. And when you lose a baby, people tend not to talk to you about it. People tend to shy away from it. It's extremely painful and people are uncomfortable with it. But for me, I just wanted to talk about it. She was my baby. And like any other new mother, you want to talk about your pregnancy, you want to talk about your labour and delivery, and you want to talk about your baby. So I got involved in the Every Life Counts community, and they just became family to me. They just became everything, and just this place where Liadhan was absolutely honoured and loved. And I got to know their babies and they got to know mine. And then I got brave then, because I fell in love with it so much. I actually said, look, can I come and do some work with you? The organisation is amazing, and I really think I can help you with that. And yeah, I started working with them in 2018.
And you can see here in the office, you have so many photos of babies who receive, it's a life-limiting condition, isn't it? Like your own baby, Liadhan, where they're projected to not live very long after birth, or perhaps even, they might be gone on arrival in some cases. But can you tell us a little bit about, their stories? There's obviously, there's so many names and there's so many families, but what exactly does it mean to a mother in that kind of place? I imagine it's quite a lonely place to be told that your baby is not going to live at all or very long. But what does it mean to them to have Every Life Counts, to kind of catch them when they find themselves in that situation?
So that's the thing. That's what I remember mostly, the fear and feeling alone and feeling like I was the only person in the world this had happened to. I had that beautiful ignorance of pregnancy where I didn't think babies got that unwell. I thought they could fix her. You just don't know these stories. I'd never heard of trisomy 18 before. So I remember saying to myself before I got in touch with Every Life Counts that I never wanted anybody to feel that alone. I mean, there was times I needed to speak to somebody and I had nobody to speak to, that nobody got it. And I didn't even understand myself how I was in so much pain and grief after losing her, because I thought, I never met this baby. I have 2 older children. I should be grateful for what I have. And it was so confusing, this loss, because people don't talk about baby loss in that sense. If somebody loses an older child, it's a huge tragedy and everybody is talking about it. And, that poor child. But when it's a baby, it seems to be a lot more hush-hush. And I remember thinking, there's got to be better than this. There's got to be some sort of organization that can support people. So I think that's what we do. We are available 24/7. There's a team of us that will respond to mums. We have special alerts for if it's a mum that contacts us, especially after baby has been born and possibly passed away, that the phone will alert us that it's a mum trying to contact us. And we're just there for them. And they will always come back. The endorsements we've received, we've won awards, parents are just so grateful for it's such gentle care, for just being there, just being that someone that they can reach out and for you to say, it's okay that you feel like this. This is the worst pain in the world and you will feel better and everything you feel now is totally justified. And we find the parents just appreciate that so much, that we're just there for them should they need us.
I see here you have some very, very cute, tiny baby clothes and you have some lovely boxes that you send out to mums. Can you tell us a little bit about why you do that and what each thing is for?
Well, again, my experience, and the other mums have spoke to me about this as well, is I wanted Liadhan to have a lovely outfit when she was born. And all parents feel the same. Any parent I've come in contact with has felt the same. And we knew she was going to be very small. And each week I was being a complete mum and I wanted to make sure she'd have an outfit. Would she be born that week? Because we knew there was a chance she was going to come early. And I couldn't find them. I couldn't get them. So here at Every Life Counts, we ensure that we have baby clothes in all sizes, ranging from £1 up to £4 and £5, and full-size clothes as well. We have wonderful volunteers that make christening gowns for us and little outfits and cardigans and knitting specifically for these babies, so that they might be very delicate when they're born. And these items are made with Velcro, so baby can be just laid into them, or gosh, the clothes got onto them easy. And it's just such a thing for parents that they just can clothe their baby in beautiful clothes that have been specifically made for them with such love and compassion. And the care packages we do, we just, again, it reverts back to what parents have said to us, that they've wanted things in the hospital, they want memory-making items, they want things to give other family members. So, for example, we have these beautiful knitted butterflies that match the blankets that we give the baby. And then they can be given to family members like nannies or siblings or granddads, aunts and uncles. And they love that as well because the whole family is around this baby. And we do things that we have jewellery, for example, that a piece stays with baby and a piece stays with mum then as well. So we find that when a parent gets this diagnosis, it's very hard to focus on things, on what you need to do and what you need to get done. It's a very scary place to be. So we make sure we have enough stuff and items that we can look after parents and say, look, we have this, and this, what do you need? And we can get it to them very quickly. And we know they just appreciate that so much. We've parents that have said to us, I wouldn't have had a blanket if it wasn't for you. Because sometimes we could get a call and mum could already be in hospital. And even a couple of weeks ago, there was a trip to Cork, there was a trip to Waterford, and then there was a trip to Dublin, because a courier wouldn't even get what's needed to the places quick enough. And we will do that. We will get stuff where it's needed to go. And it's so appreciated and it's so necessary, because this time the parents have with their children it's such a short space of time, that we will do whatever we need to do to make that time right and special for the parents.
It sounds like you're very much trying to help them to make memories that they can keep.
Yeah, they're so important to just have those memories and to have items afterwards of that time with your baby. And we know it makes a huge difference. And our thing is, the time is so short and so precious that we want to take any pressure off parents that they have to navigate trying to source items or anything like that, that we are there and we will have everything that they would need to make those memories with their baby.
Can you tell us how you found Every Life Counts?
I found it by accident. So when I found out my son had trisomy 18, I just started to Google it and I put it into Facebook, and Vicky popped up on my Facebook, and I'd seen that she had a little girl, Liadhan. So I just messaged her because I wanted someone to communicate about it because I didn't know really what it was. I'd just gone to the hospital and they just said, your baby could have trisomy 18. And I didn't know what it was. You know, they just kind of tell you and they tell you kind of out the door then, you know. So when I contacted Vicky, she was just straight back to me and straight away we just connected and we agreed to meet up. And I remember going to our house and I have about 40 cakes in a bag. And I just sat in her kitchen and I just felt the first time in weeks after finding out my son was terminally ill, I just felt, I don't know, like a peace that I could go through it, that I could actually do it.
And when you say trisomy 18, can you explain what that is to people who don't know?
So like the hospital will tell you that it's not compatible with life, so that they won't survive after birth. So that's kind of what I initially was told, which I was like, oh my God, what is that, you know? So it's basically like they have problems with their heart, they have I think with their kidneys, and my son had cysts on his brain. That's what they could see from the scan. I still really don't know what he had, you know. We never looked into it after he passed away. We just didn't want to have a post-mortem, so I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that it was kind of similar to Down syndrome kind of a thing, you know.
And were you scared when you found that out, or how did you feel?
Yeah, I was devastated. Absolutely. I never, because we had 2 weeks where, so you found out that there's potentially something wrong, but you have to wait 2 weeks for a blood test. And then after that blood test comes back, you have to have an amniocentesis. So that is where they go into your stomach and take out fluid. And that's the only way you can get 100%. And at the time, I remember my doctor saying to me, my consultant, he said, we have to be 100% because there had been a baby terminated falsely in Dublin, I remember. That was 6 years ago. They did a blood test and it came back kind of like a positive for trisomy 18. And then they had an abortion. And then when they had sent away the amniocentesis, it came back that the baby didn't. So my consultant wanted to be 100%. But I'll always remember walking out of the room after finding out, because I had to make a decision then to have this procedure. And if you had an amniocentesis, it was like, I think 1 in 10 had a miscarriage straight away after it. So I was there to find out my son has this, I don't even know what you would call it, like a terminal disease. And then I had to decide whether I was going to have this procedure done, which could end his life straight away, you know. So I just remember walking out and it's like a film. I just couldn't see, I could see like faces, but I couldn't see their faces, if you know what I mean. I know they were all looking at me because I was just bawling, and I always remember that being really invasive. I always remember like there should have been a better way to tell me.
And did the hospital not put you in contact with an external support group like ALC, or you just found that?
I found it on my own. Yeah. I felt like I can't knock them because they were fantastic and I had a really good experience. I have to say that. But at the start it was a bit impersonal, you know, that kind of way. I had a really good there was a really good midwife, bereavement midwife, and I was put in contact with their team, and I have to say they were really, really good. But I wasn't put in contact with anything outside of the hospital.
And your son being born and passing away, that's about 6 years ago now. How can you tell us a little bit about, you know, his life and, you know, his birth and what it was like to spend the time you had with him?
Yeah. I'll always remember I was sitting in the room ready to go down to have him, and I remember Vicky was actually on a radio show doing an interview, and I remember her wishing me luck, and I remember that kind of got me, I don't know how to explain it. I was so scared. I was so frightened. I was never so afraid in my life, and I'd be a scaredy cat anyway. I could, you know, if I had to get my blood done, I'd be like, and I was so afraid. And I remember hearing that and I was like, I'm going to be fine. You know, I knew I had a lot of support. And my partner was outstanding as well, like, you know, and my family were really good. But when he was born, we were lucky enough, it was before COVID, and all our family could come in when he was just born, because I didn't know whether he would die straight away. He actually lived for 38 hours. He lived for 38 hours, and we were able to be with him, and I got to change him, I got to feed him, and like when I think back now, I can remember it so well. You know, like I wouldn't remember yesterday. Like I'd have such a bad head, but it was the best time in my life, but the worst, if that makes sense. I got to be a mum and, you know, soak up all that. I knew this was his, I knew that I was going to have a short time with him and I had to make the most of it.
Mm. And if there was another mum who was facing a similar diagnosis and similar choices, what would you say to her?
It's all about support and it's all about the situation that you're in. You know, I don't think anyone can say from person to person. It's really like if you have support, like you can feel very alone in something like that, you know, and I don't feel like from one person to the other, it's different. But I would say reach out to like people like Vicky and Every Life Counts and any charity that will give you help. You'll know the kind of charities that won't help, you know, that kind of way. Because I did reach out to another one and they were like, oh, just bring me back when your baby's born. You know, I was like, okay, you know, that's not what I was asking for. But it's so different from person to person. And I have met other women who've lost children and I dealt with it very publicly, which I kind of regret now. I was very open about it. I was very, people would say, congratulations, you're having a baby. And I'd be like, yeah, my baby's going to die. I was very outspoken about it. And looking back now, I may have been I felt now too outspoken, you know, but that's the way I felt at the time, you know.
And what do having those memories now mean to you 6 years on?
I always say that my son taught me the most valuable lesson in life, that everything can change so quickly, and to just like be present in life, enjoy your life. You don't need everything. You don't need, like, all you need is your health, your family, and, you know, like a roof over your head. But I don't know, he just changed me, and sometimes I can't even explain how. He just made me a lot happier person. I just felt his life was cut so short and it was very unfair. And I felt like I couldn't live the rest of my life not honouring his life, if that makes sense, and still being a mum to him. Like I walk up to his grave every week, you know, make sure he has his flowers on his grave, and he's still such a part of our family, and our children are very aware of him, but not in an upsetting way, in a like, hi Devin, how are you? Like when we pass the graveyard and stuff. And it's good for them to know about, you know, death, and, you know, that you can honour a person that's passed. It's not just they're gone and that's it.